I think I'm going to continue leaning into my role as participant right now and share. Because I have a question I want to ask Luis. First, I just want to say thanks for that reading. It's always nice to hear Thai. I feel like there are so many ways we could connect that reading to what's happening in the world and in the United States, but really in the world right now.
Right.
How much division there is and how easy it is to touch that. Like how it almost feels like there's a minefield. And everywhere I step, I'm touching something that's exploding and making me feel separate from a whole group of other people. I'm just making that analogy now, but it's apt because it's painful too. It is an explosion. Something crazy happens politically, sociologically, economically, militarily, and that hurts me. And then I feel really disconnected from other people. And I would just love to hear, because I think that's partly why you chose that reading. If you could just talk a little bit more about how you see those connections and what made that reading leap out today for you.
I'm from Venezuela, so I grew up in Venezuela in America. Not sure how aware you might be of what's happening there, but it's not great, which is why I'm not there anymore. And I had to leave my country, mostly against my will. It was a very fraught experience to leave, and so I carry a lot of awareness of the differences and how I perceive difference in way of thinking or preferences, or be it cultural, political, gender, whatever, what have you. How a certain way to approaching a perceived difference can create division and pain. And I've suffered it. I lost my country, don't have access to my family. There's a lot of things that I, quote unquote, lost by having to leave where I'm from. And the pain and the weight of that loss was, and had continued to be, very big. But then through the practice, I was able to notice how the same anger and the same judgment and the same frustration and the same will to even destroy, like a lot of very destructive energies, were coming up in me too, in response to what I experienced. Their righteousness. Oh, these are bad people. These are good people, and I want to be on the good people's side, so I'm going to do this or that. But the energy inside, I could see, it wasn't that different from the energy of those who I labeled, quote unquote, bad.
So like being prejudiced against prejudiced people.
Right. Yeah. So when I read that text yesterday morning, I was thinking of what's happening here in the United States, what happened on Friday around lifting, like eliminating access to abortion rights, and whatever view you have on that. What I'm paying attention to is my response and those that I see in those around me, that in many ways perpetuates the separation that we're seeing. I don't know what the right answer is to what happened on Friday. I have no idea. But what I'm noticing is the suffering that I'm seeing in this country is very similar to the one I saw in my country. And the one that I frankly see anywhere I go, if I'm looking, if I have my eyes open. I have found it very challenging and very nourishing to simply recognize that the things that I see in those that I judge, I also have a lot of them too. Right? So it strikes me as, I don't know what word to use, unfair, unrealistic, to say, well, how dare you not control your judgment if I can't either? Right? If I'm also judgmental, if I am being a jerk, if I am being, annoying or controlling or petty or all those things that I find frustrating, if I can't get a hold of those things, then why would they? So my answer to that is to say, well, then I'm going to learn how to do that and hopefully become a source of whatever, insight, inspiration, a reference, what have you, to my surroundings, but mostly because I want to have that for myself. Having seen the impact of what judgment and separation can do, gave me the insight to choose to cultivate the opposite, which then goes to, if there was no evil, quote unquote evil, I wouldn't have gotten to be committed to this path. Right? So I have to be grateful that I lost my country and my family, because I might be stuck in a thinking pattern that would just create suffering if I hadn't gone through that. It's a hard pill to swallow, but I think it's what's happened. So it's what's there. So in keeping with the practice of just seeing what's there, I'm seeing that happened, and then this happened, and now I'm here. Who am I to say that having that happen where I'm from is not the best thing that could happen? And that's rough, to meet. That's what it brought up for me.
Thanks, Luis.